Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Silver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Silver.
It's Marshall Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Life is so good, and I am very, very blessed. I'm glad to be with you today. I have a very special guest on today's show. Plus, as you know, we have hit a benchmark, a record today, $11,000 up for grabs. Should you say the secret word contained in this envelope when you call in and ask for advice? And even if So how can you tell we're live? Stuff happens. That's how you can tell we're live. Stuff happens. When I told everybody we were going to do a live show 2 hours a day, everybody told me, don't do that. Things will go wrong. I said, things will go wrong anyway, and I'm going to do it live. So that was just a little indication that, yes, we are live. And as I was saying, maybe, just maybe, the internet gods don't like how much cash I'm giving away. $11,000 up for grabs, secret word of the day. Going to give you lots of hints during our first hour. Make sure you tune in. If you're brand new to the show and you get on the air and you say the secret word, you win the cash. So you get on the show today by going to studiomoney.info/live guest. If you're the most interesting guest, you could also win pure silver from me. 10 ounces of pure silver. As of today, I don't know. I think we're up around 140 ounces, 150 ounces after today. It is a special day for me. A couple of reasons. Number one, yesterday, one of the callers that called in is a level 10 person, and she's one of my favorite people to begin with. So I'm really glad that you guys voted for her to win the silver. Yesterday, we had a woman on that was in Hawaii dealing with what emerges and having a hard time. Renee Cudlett. Renee Cudlett, you won 10 ounces of pure silver. Today's show is really good, very timely. I got in the spa this morning, as I do every single morning, but I can. and I was really enjoying the 106-degree water temperature. My beautiful bride came out and joined me. My son came out and hung out for a little while. My daughter put her feet in, and so it was just a really nice morning. And then they went inside, and I went over to the cold plunge. And before we get going on today's show, because today's show is all about health, I want to tell you that we're going to do an episode soon, very soon, actually. Not next week, so I've got seminars going on very soon, though. And I'll take you live to my morning routine. You'll watch me get in the spa. You'll watch me get in the cold plunge. And a lot of people like their cold plunge as cold as they can possibly do it. Some people would like to put their cold plunge at 31 degrees if they could, but they cannot because that's an ice cube. A lot of people like to do their cold plunge really, really cold. I personally, the research I've done doesn't really show any extended benefit to going colder and colder and colder. It's colder, for number one. Number two, though, I keep my cold plunge at 55 degrees, and I like to go into it for a longer period of time. Generally speaking, I go from the spa into the cold plunge, into the red light sauna, back into the cold plunge, and then I get out and wrap it up. And I keep it at 55 degrees. My first trip into the cold plunge is usually about 12 minutes. And I say about because I don't set a timer, I count in my head. And I do this weird little thing where I not only count in my head while I'm in there, I count to 520. Each of my counts is about a second and a half on average. The last 100, though, when I get to 420, the last 100 count, I start over at 1. And what I do is I visualize my life at 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. Now at 4-year-old, I remember looking out the window of the farmhouse. 5 years old, here's a memory from school. 6, 7, became a magician. I go through the whole count of 100. And obviously, by the time I get to 61, I'm sitting in a cold plunge in San Diego. And then I use the rest of that count to project forward, to visualize, and to see my life. Not only does it make the time go faster, it also gives me a really good start to my day as I begin visualizing what I want the day to be. Speaking of what I want things to be, welcome to the show. We are in week 3. This is episode 14, and we have a very special guest on the show today. Her name is Monica Hershaft. She is amazing in so many ways. She has not only followed a lot of the things that we really support and believe in here. She's a best-selling author, motivational speaker, holistic health practitioner, and a nutritional consultant. She also utilizes kinesiology, something that I love, as a part of the process of understanding symptoms and ultimately figuring out how to make your body better. She spent 15 years in Los Angeles as a top-rated holistic health practitioner, and now she's in Arizona, in Scottsdale, working one-on-one with people. They're blessing in the Phoenix area. She's responsible for helping thousands and thousands of people that have gone undiagnosed with their chronic illnesses. She's the best-selling author of Treat the Source, Not the Symptom, the 3-pillar system to getting your health back. It's available on Amazon. You can also find her all over the place. She's one of the top Los Angeles nutrition and health experts, as said so by CBS, and so much more. Without any further ado, please welcome to the Marshall Silver Live Show, Monica Hershaft. Welcome home. You are loved.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I cannot quite hear you.
Oh. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties with live.
They know things are going to happen, and they love us already. So whatever happens.
Let's see. We did test it.
Still cannot hear you.
Any producer support here? Because it's working on my end.
Not quite yet.
Well,
Is it something on our side?
Yeah.
Monica seems to think it's something on our side. Can you hear me, Tom? Oh, goodness.
Let's keep testing.
How about now? There we go.
Is that good?
That's much better. My deepest apologies.
No problem. Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome home. How are you?
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm so excited. I was really looking forward to this.
Good. So you're in Scottsdale right now.
Yeah.
So tell me more about what you do.
Well, as you mentioned, I had been working with people one-on-one for a long time, but now I've been veering away from the one-on-one, and I started an online community membership because so many people from when I was doing talks or interviews that are in other states or even other countries just didn't have a way to get help and support. So even though it's not the same as the one-on-one, it's fun because I get to interview a lot of different health experts in there and provide online support for changes people can make in their daily life in order to reduce inflammation and figure out why they're not doing well and why nothing they try works. So that's kind of my superpower.
I noticed that you use a lot of obviously holistic methodologies,
Yeah.
and we are certainly major fans of holistic health here. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you would do. Let's imagine somebody had some challenges with skin conditions, which, by the way, there's a lot of people having skin challenges these days. And I
Yeah.
know inside of my own household, we've dealt with that with my kids. And I just want to know what your 2 cents is on why are so many people having skin challenges, eczema, and other challenges these days when we never saw this before.
Yeah, well, there's definitely more, not just skin, but symptoms in general. More people are dealing with mystery illness than ever before because our environment has changed, our food has changed. The things that are causing the inflammation are so much more predominant in our daily life. So then people are feeling symptoms sooner on the disease chain before it'll show up in labs. So when it comes to skin, that's usually connected to spleen drainage being impacted. And a lot of times when there's an overwhelm of toxicity, those drainage organs can't work properly. So it's kind of like if you're pouring pasta into a strainer and you do it too fast, it starts to overflow because it can't drain out because it's too much. It's kind of like that for the body. So basically, most of what I do, especially with the online, because in person, we muscle test people individually and figure out what's causing interference. And so the body's immune system gets impacted by that toxic burden. So the first thing we look at is the food and the nutrition. And I am offering your people a free immune repair food list that shows
I love
the
it.
do's and don'ts. Yeah, the do's and don'ts, what hidden ingredients to look for, to avoid, what to incorporate, because it all reduces inflammation. And even your producer was telling me today that he had cut out gluten for a week and saw such a significant difference in his pain. And so a lot of times people don't realize how much the food is contributing to the inflammation and the imbalance that causes these symptoms.
Give me some quick insights as to what people could do these days. Because again,
Yeah.
there's zero doubt in my mind that we're poisoning the food, and the air is poison, the water is poison, the food's poison. So how do we survive in something like this?
Yeah, I mean, you really need an owner's manual to your body these days because the modern world is kind of set up to make things harder for our bodies to do their job properly. And so, in a nutshell, we look at eliminating dairy, soy, wheat, and sugar. And if you can eliminate all grains, that's even better because grains are inflammatory. The only time I say, okay, do some grains is if a person's having trouble gaining weight. And then we only look at grains that are sprouted and organic, like quinoa, oats, or brown rice. Everything else is pretty much going to contribute to inflammation. And you really have to stick with organic these days because the pesticides that we're using now in this country, most of the other countries, this country being the United States, most of these other countries in the European Union won't even allow the pesticides we use. They're actually illegal because they're so dangerous. So you kind of have to do organic as much as you can.
What do you suppose changed? Is it the pesticides? Is it the
There's a
fertilizer?
lot.
Because obviously we've been eating grains forever,
Yeah, a
and
lot's
for it to
changed.
be what's changed?
Yeah. So you might have to interrupt me and shut me up because I'm going to go on this one. so, so basically, like you mentioned, we've been eating grains, we've been eating a lot of things for a long time, right? So what's changed is multiple things, and starting with pesticides. The pesticides being used are so much more toxic, so much more dangerous than they were. And I can speak back to when I was growing up in the 60s and 70s. We did not use pesticides like this, and conventional food was not as poisoned as it is today. We didn't have the level of toxicity and cancerous chemicals in the pesticides. And I have a detailed breakdown of that that you can access through my links as well. But going even further than that, there's a big debate between vegan versus paleo or carnivore going on all the time, all over the place. And being born and raised vegan as I was, because my father was a famous animal rights activist who got kind of started the whole movement, I was raised on a vegan diet. And so back in the day when I got sick, when I was in my 30s, it was that imbalance that had built up over the years. And a lot of people go vegan for health reasons because they think, oh, it's unhealthy to eat meat and eggs. And here's where it comes in as what's causing more issue today with the food we're eating with animal protein than back in the day. And that's factory farming. And so I use and recommend organic, grass-fed, grass-finished animal protein. And it's important to get red meat. I tried as a vegan to get well for years and couldn't do it. And I was incapacitated. I wasn't just, oh, I'm not feeling well. I was extremely sick. And it wasn't until I started incorporating animal protein that I got my health back, but I was avoiding red meat because I was trying to just stick to the minimum in terms of, for ethical reasons. And then it wasn't until I started incorporating the red meat that I really got my health back. So you have to look at the factory farmed animal protein. They're being shot up with hormones. They're being shot up with antibiotics. They are being given very toxic food. They're being kept in very stressful conditions, very abusive conditions, laying in their own filth. They're sick. They have sores. They have infections. And their cortisol levels are very high from the stress they're under. And it's also just from an ethical standpoint, horrific. And so then when you look at paleocentric, pasture-raised, grass-fed, organic animal protein, they are out roaming free, they're eating grass, they have a more enjoyable life, and they do what they call humane kills, which I know sounds like an oxymoron, but it's a totally different quality. So if you get a conventional factory farmed steak versus a pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished organic steak, one will heal your body, fix blood pressure, fix cholesterol, the other will do the opposite. And it seems like it's steak versus steak, but it literally makes the difference between healing your body and actually causing disease.
You went from vegan to now eating meat. And I can't imagine how bad that must have tasted at first because your brain is just telling you, I shouldn't be doing this, especially growing up in the household you grew up in.
Yeah.
What percentage of your diet now has some kind of a animal protein in it?
3 times a day, every day since I was 40. I'm 57.
Lovely. Well, you look beautiful, so something working.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it really, for me, once I learned what I learned and went through the experience that I went through and how devastating it was for me. And speaking of skin, ironically, part of the symptoms that I was experiencing during the 10 years that I was sick, in my 30s, it was a lot of skin stuff as well out of nowhere because I didn't have skin issues prior to that, where I had red slashes under my eyes that were bleeding, and all around my mouth was all raw and peeling for just seemed like no reason. And it was really challenging because, the doctors would say, it's stress, and I'm like, well, this illness is stressing me out, but other than that, and a lot of times it does get written off when people go for help as depression, anxiety, or stress, when in reality, there's an imbalance going on that just can't get picked up in traditional labs these days. And so really making these changes in your daily life and learning how to eliminate the toxins that we're getting exposed to now that we weren't dealing with 20, 30 years ago, that makes all the difference. And that's really where the gap is in the education for people versus what happens when you go to the doctor trying to find answers.
So what happened for you? You were on a vegan diet. Was
Yeah.
it the vegetables? Was it the pesticides
Well,
in the vegetables?
I ate a lot of tofu, let me tell you.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I don't eat tofu at all.
that's
I
good.
read an article about tofu minimizing testosterone and affecting men in
Mhm.
that way, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I get that. So soy in general, and again, speaking to the United States, because the way we do food here is different than in other countries. And we also want to think about ethnic background, which Weston A. Price wrote a book about that's very interesting. But basically, if you're of an Asian background, you can do tofu if it's in that country and being produced in that way. But the way things are done here, and as we get into this modern white culture in terms of the way things are produced for our food and the environment we're living in, and the way our bodies are built, coming from the ethnic and cultural background, that dictates more of how your body is going to perform with certain types of diets. And in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I really tried to help people that were still vegetarian or vegan because I wanted to, just from my background. But I personally found that without animal protein, and we use supplements that had animal glandulars in them as well, in bovine and ovine and porcine, and that was it just wasn't possible. It just didn't work without the animal protein. And I found that for myself, and I thought, well, maybe it's because I was born and raised vegan, but I found it to be true with pretty much any human body that was American here. But speaking to what you asked regarding what it was like for me, when I first started eating meat, it was very emotional. I actually cried, and I had to do things to kind of trick myself, because I did spend over 5 years trying to get my health back as a vegan, and I tried everything and it just didn't work. I went to every person I could go to. I flew to other states. I really tried. And then one person suggested that it's impossible as a vegan to get your health back, and I would need animal protein or she wouldn't work with me. And I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And if it doesn't work, no one has to know. If it does work, then I have to do it, because I literally had no quality of life. I couldn't even work. I mean, I couldn't even drive a car. So, but what triggered it was actually a detox program that I did at the time. And what happened was, my ability to dump toxins had been compromised by a very severe choline deficiency. And especially with my body developing.
What is choline?
Growing. So choline is, it's a form of vitamin B. It's something that your body uses for phase 2 liver function. So phase 1 liver function is bagging up the trash. Phase 2 is dumping the trash out. So if you are doing a detox program and you're stimulating toxins and pulling them out of the tissues, and your body can't dump them, you are screwed, because then you get what's called auto-intoxication, and all of it goes back into the body, and then it causes so much chaos, and it affects nervous system function as well, which impacts sleep. It impacts gallbladder, which is part of phase 2 liver function. So breaking down fats becomes impossible. And that detox triggered a really severe reactivity for me that did not resolve on its own over years. And so in my situation, as a result of that, the symptoms kept getting worse and worse over the years instead of resolving. And the nervous system just was in such a state of confusion, and the ability to dump toxins was so compromised that I became severely debilitated.
I have a friend of mine who died on Tuesday. He was over in French Polynesia down in Bali, and he got an infection, and he took ibuprofen. And for whatever reason, they said the ibuprofen irritated the infection and put him into a septic state, and he died.
Oh my gosh.
And this is a guy that was the epitome of health. This is a guy, I mean, again, if you had said, pick one of these people, they're going to die of a septic shock, I said, no, not him. He's healthy.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about choline, because after my open heart surgery, I gained 60 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
And they put me on diuretics. They thought maybe it was just, retention. They put me on diuretics, and I was on the diuretics for a year. I hate drugs. And they put me on diuretics for a year, and it didn't adjust anything. And finally, I kept telling my doctor, I said, I feel like my body is stuck. I feel like there's something going on inside of me, and it's just not releasing whatever just built up in those 2 months. They gave me 2 pounds a day for 2 months. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm stuck. And so I want to go back to that choline, because I believe that, and how do you spell that, by the way?
CHOLINE. But choline
Tell me more
comes
about
from,
that. And by the way,
yeah.
are there, my wife is like Miss Healthy. She's the best. She's what keeps our whole household healthy. But she's always got me drinking weird teas and made out of got stuff out of the garden or even out of even the weeds out of the garden. She's making me a tea out of it. And I love my wife and she's smart. So I listen to her and I, for the most part, do what she tells me to do, with the exception of kale. Kale's where my line is drawn. I will not do kale. You can wrap it in chocolate. I don't care. But tell me more about choline.
So, well, choline comes from red meat and eggs. So that's why my deficiency was so severe. And also, it's not something that doctors check for in labs. That's why no one could figure it out. So when I was going from doctor to doctor and doing the medical route before I found holistic, because I wasn't into holistic before, I didn't really know what that was. So nobody checks for any sort of deficiencies like that. They just check for like vitamin D and, the usual thing. And so all of my labs kept coming back normal. And it wasn't until I found a holistic, it was actually an osteopath who first found not the choline deficiency specifically, but he found compromised phase 2 liver function. But they couldn't figure out why, and they didn't know what to do to fix it. So they were giving me, and this is going to be a familiar story to some of your listeners, they were giving me things to take to fix it that made me worse. So sometimes when you're trying things like you're describing with the diuretics, I'm not a fan of diuretics either. And the reason for that is when you take something to force the body into a specific state, it's bullying the nervous system. So a diuretic is forcing the fluid to leave the body. So you're bypassing the job of the kidneys and the other drainage organs in the body. So then it creates more imbalance and more confusion with the nervous system. And the nervous system rules the entire body. So it's really important that you make other changes to accommodate the healing process. And nutrition's a good start for that, but also eliminating toxicity is really important as well, with some of the daily things that you were exposed to. I mean, even things that people don't think about, for example, the EMF, electromagnetic fields. We didn't have any of this when I was growing up. We didn't have cell phones, computers. I mean, you called and you got a busy signal, and you'd go visit people. There was just none of all this electronic and all of the electromagnetic fields. So, but there's solutions for all of those things. And that's, people don't know how to learn this. That's why I started the membership, because I provide all this information. But you basically, if you get radiation protection for these things, you don't sleep with it. There's so many of these young people sleeping with them under their pillows or next to their bed. That is so dangerous for your nervous system when you're trying to repair. There's so many other things people don't realize with the products that you're using, with what you're cooking in, putting things in plastic, drinking water out of plastic bottles. The tap water in this country, don't even get me started on the tap water. There's chlorine, there's fluoride, which is a neurotoxin, all of the things in our daily life, and just knowing what changes to make. It's like getting the owner's manual to your body. You have to know to get the right kind of water filter, the right kind of shower filter, get a whole house filter if you can. Use glass instead of bottle for food storage and for drinking out of. No aluminum. Aluminum is a neurotoxin. Do stainless steel instead. There's all these little hacks that really change your life that are not to be, underestimated in the impact on your health, because cumulatively, when you're doing this every day, your body can't handle it. And so that's why you got to make the changes.
Give me some, it seems overwhelming.
Yes.
And I've thought about this a lot with my kids, because I love them so much, and them having whatever challenges they've had, especially with the skin. I am one to always say, what's different? So, why are they having this circumstance? What changed or what's different? And without a doubt, the amount of, Wi-Fi and all of that going on around us, radiation, 5G and everything else is definitely affecting them. What are some things that we can do immediately, like today? Make a list of, 4 or 5 things that we could do to instantaneously impact our health in a positive way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did provide a link as well for my immune repair food list that has the do's and don'ts. So that's fantastic to get started, nutritionally speaking, because it tells you even the hidden ingredients to look for. Let me tell you something. We go to the grocery store and you see what it says on the front of a package, read the back. Because, for example, there is a famous brand of olive oil mayo that's actually made with mostly canola oil, and canola oil is toxic and very bad for your heart and your nervous system. And it comes from the rapeseed, which is toxic. but the front of it says olive oil mayonnaise. There's this much olive oil and this much canola oil in it. So you have to read the ingredients label. That's the most important part. And you can incorporate that food list. I also get good quality animal protein with eggs. I have an egg guide as well, but you want to get pasture raised, not pasteurized. A lot of people get that confused. Pasture raised organic eggs. And that's what makes the difference, is the quality of the animal protein. But as far as toxins in your daily life, getting a really good quality shower filter that will filter out, because when you're in the shower or soaking in a hot tub, for example, you've got the chlorine is getting into the pores. They're open. It's warm and wet. So you also inhale it as a gas. So changing your, making a filter on your shower or getting a whole house filter that will eliminate the chlorine and the fluoride. Drinking water, don't get a, I don't know if we're allowed to say brands, but don't get a Brita or a cheap filter, because if you do that, you're not getting adequate filtration. And actually, if you look at the cost per gallon, the more expensive filters end up being cheaper in the long run. And so you want something that eliminates fluoride, which is very hard to eliminate, eliminates pathogens. They have found pharmaceutical drugs in the tap water, birth control in the tap water, antidepressants in the tap water, aluminum, all kinds of toxicity. So you need a really good filter for that. And think about when you're cooking with it, making coffee or tea, all of those things go into your body and affect your hormone. They're endocrine disruptors. You got to do organic as much as you can. And so those are right off the bat. Again, as we talked about earlier, eliminating aluminum. Don't drink out of aluminum water bottles. Don't cook with aluminum cookware. Don't use nonstick pans. They're full of carcinogens. You can get surgical stainless steel or the ceramic. There's so many products out there now that make it easier. I have a recommendations page that's free, that's on my links page, where I recommend a lot of different of these products that you can even just get on Amazon or Target. So that's important. Looking at when you're putting on antiperspirant, right? And that goes right into your lymphatic system, get aluminum free, get more of a non-toxic product, because most of the antiperspirants have aluminum, and then you're putting it right into your lymphatic system, and that goes to the spleen, and then you get the spleen problem. So then that affects your skin. So these are easy fixes. And then getting really good radiation protection. It's a one-time purchase. You can move it from phone to phone as you upgrade your phones, but don't sleep with your phone. Keep your phone at least 3 feet away. And guys, you're putting it in your pocket, your phone. What's that next to in your pocket? Think about it. So those are some tips.
Yeah, I know I'm guilty. I keep my phone on the nightstand, so when I wake up in the middle of the night, I can reach over and grab it and, find my way to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Tell me more about kinesiology for people that don't know about it. What is kinesiology?
So it's applied kinesiology, is also known as muscle testing. And so in muscle testing, a lot of people don't understand the complexity with muscle testing, because so how it looks, if you were to look, I'm just going to do a demonstration on myself, is like someone puts their arm out and you keep the elbow straight and the other person goes like this, and it's either strong or it goes down. And so the thing is that the nervous system rules the entire body. So this is not a strength test. It's a muscle test to check for a lock, because the nervous system is helping us to determine if something is strong or weak for the body. Now, that being said, we look at what's called neurogenic blocking or neurogenic switching first, because let's say let me just grab something off my desk. Let's say here, I have a lip pencil. Let's say I'm checking to see if this makeup is toxic. If I just check it on me, and if my nervous system is blocked or switched, I'll get a wrong answer. The body is lying if it's blocked or switched. So like if I have something on a person and I go to check this, it's on their body. I have to first check if they're blocked or switched. And let me explain what that means. So with neurogenic blocking, it goes in the reverse order, actually. So let's say a person has overgrowth of bacteria, fungus, parasites, virus, toxicity, whether it's heavy metals, it can be metal fillings in your mouth, it can be from the other things we just talked about, and it gets so built up in the body that the body can no longer drain it properly and manage it. First thing that happens is the nervous system gets what we call switched, which is parasympathetic and sympathetic, which is like your brakes and your gas in the car, but for your body. They get reversed. And how that feels to you is better, worse, or you try to take something, like in your case, you try to take a diuretic, it doesn't work, it does the opposite. So if you're starting to get opposite reactions when you try something, if you're taking calcium to calm down and it makes you jacked up, you're probably switched. And so if you're getting that better, worse roller coaster feeling, that's probably from neurogenic switching. Then if it goes unaddressed for too long and it keeps cumulatively building up, because guess what? Things don't stay the same at all in the body. They either get better or worse. They do not stay the same. They will turn into other symptoms. Then it turns into neurogenic blocking. And what that feels like to you is nothing you try works. You're feeling like you're just beating your head against a wall. It's like having a boot on your car. The brakes are being pushed and you're just stuck. And so that's when the parasympathetic and the sympathetic are just like frozen. They're not regulating properly. And then you're not responsive to any normal treatments. And that has to get addressed. So that's what we check for when we're doing muscle testing. And we use, I don't have my vials here, but we use homeopathic vials that have different energetic patterns in them for pathogenic and for different toxins to determine what's causing the interference. And then that helps us know which supplementation for that person's unique body will create an opposite reaction to then release and relieve and provide the body with the support that it needs to eliminate the things that are causing interference and put the balance and the homeostasis back in.
What foods, because I want to get back to this idea. I
Yeah.
quit drinking alcohol in July, thinking my liver would instantaneously start healing. And while I feel better, I certainly feel better, and I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
drinking alcohol. I also don't know that my liver is necessarily getting any better. And what you just described may be something that a lot of us, are dealing with, that we're not putting any more toxins in our body, but our body is not kicking out the toxins that were already there. Is there anything that I could do to boost the release of those toxins that are just still, fighting inside of my body, not being released?
So that's difficult to answer in a generalized fashion because everyone's body is unique and different. So for example, I've seen people that are missing a gallbladder or they're missing a thyroid, and a lot of women have had their uterus taken out. So there's a lot of things with missing organs. Past severe injuries can impact as well. So that's why everything's very unique to each person. The things that we provide inside the membership where we go through, because there's an online 12 module program in there that walks you through every toxin to eliminate. The reason that changing the nutrition and making the changes in the toxins is so important is because you can't do it, pardon the expression, half-ass. You have to eliminate all the toxins. You can't just do some of the toxins. It'll help a little, but you have to get the overwhelm off, and it takes a minimum of 90 days for tissue change to happen. So once you've completely been following the food program and making the changes in the toxicity for at least 90 days, you will start to notice a difference. It's just not as quick as a lot of people expect it to be. So people will try things like that for 2 weeks and then go, it's not working for me. You got to give it the time because it takes at least 90 days for any tissue change to happen. And then it takes about a year for the body to really reboot and reset if you're doing healing and repair the right way. Now, obviously, it's a sped up system if you're working with a practitioner one-on-one, like the stuff that I've done in the past, because then we're using specific supplementation for your unique priorities. So like if your nervous system is blocked or switched and someone else's nervous system is blocked or switched, and let's say you have migraines and this person has a skin condition, you're going to have completely different underlying systems and programs based on your history. And it's not about treating the symptom, it's about treating the source, right? That's my tagline, treat the source, not the symptom. Because if you treat 2 people with migraines the same way or 2 people with skin conditions the same way, they're going to get different results because what's causing it is unique to each person. Oh, I can't hear you now.
My fault. I was
No.
pouring my coffee and I didn't want the drip to hear our show. My wife has always given me these, strange concoctions of stuff she grabbed out of the backyard.
Yeah.
Is there any, and she's listening, by the way, so I want to settle this argument.
Hey,
once and
wife,
for
I
all.
want to meet the wife.
Yeah, everybody loves Erica. She's easy to love, and she's just the best. She's never drank. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't gamble. Lord knows, she's gorgeous and smart and funny, and her vice is me. So I'm happy. But the
Yeah.
question is she onto it? Feed me all these weeds in tea from the backyard.
I have no idea because I don't know. I don't know what they
Yes,
are.
at
I
least.
don't know.
So
I
you're
don't know if they're
saying that I
raw.
have a chance?
Again, if your nervous system is blocked or switched, I would only be able to determine that if I see you in person and I push on your arm and I can tell you. So if you come to Scottsdale, hit me up and we'll have a little meeting.
What's the link for everybody to get a hold of you and get some free training from you?
So I don't really have any free training, but I do have the food list, which is
Yeah,
at
there you go.
monicahershaft.com/food. You can also go to my links page, which is monicahershaft.com/links or treatthesource.com/links. And then treatthesource.com is where the membership community is. And it's very inexpensive. I did that on purpose. I was tired of people who couldn't afford to see me in person, not being able to get help. So it's just $29 a month. It's really, it's like a Netflix for the body. And we interview a lot of different guest health experts in there that you can connect with one-on-one that provide freebies for you, in addition to all of the stuff that's included. My online program with all of the information and teachings is there, and I do live Q&As in there all the time. So I really just want to provide more education and support and a place where people can get the answers. It's super affordable and manageable so that everybody can start to be in charge of their health, feel empowered, and not feel confused and hopeless, because that's how I felt for 10 years. And I just want to take that feeling away.
What fallacies, what health fallacies have you heard that, everybody says, oh, this is so good for you. And when you hear it, you just cringe and you say, oh my God, I can't believe they believe that.
Well, I can start with the whole vegan diet thing because
Yeah,
I've
when I heard
actually,
you were a vegan, I almost didn't have you on my show. And then I heard that you started eating meat. And I said, oh yeah, I want her. I'm teasing.
yeah,
Totally.
I'm kind of known for my story because, my dad was kind of, pretty well known back then. He used to do Phil Donahue and the Dinah Shore show, like all those big shows back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And he did this huge animal rights conference. So it was a big scandal when I started eating meat because people would find me on social media because of my name. And then I was promoting eating animal protein and how sick I'd been as a vegan. So, but that is a big thing. I've done live debates on stage, paleo vegan, and I actually have that on my website as well if anyone wants to watch it. But it's just it's a huge misconception that becoming vegan is good for your health, and the reason that happens is because they're eating the toxic animal protein. So if they're eating the conventional toxic factory farmed animal protein, of course it's going to make them sick. And then when they give it up, they're going to feel better. So there is this initial phenomenon of feeling better as a vegan, but long term, it causes so much imbalance and deficiencies. It encourages fungal overgrowth, which can lead to cancer. It also causes a zinc and copper imbalance. And I promise you, if vegans get their labs done specifically for enzyme production, they're going to be deficient in pancreatic enzyme production, because then it impacts your ability to break down and use your nutrients. So that's the biggest one I can think of. I'm also not a big fan of kombucha or probiotics. I feel like a lot of people are taking probiotics because it was very trendy. But if you're taking your body's ability to make friendly bacteria away, then it's going to stop creating friendly bacteria. You need to let your body do what it's meant to do and stop trying to make it do something that it already knows how to do. Just get what's in the way out of the way by these tips that we talked about earlier. So I'm not a fan of probiotics. And alkaline water, no, don't do it. Alkaline water, first of all, your whole body does not want to be a high pH. So maybe if you have stage 4 cancer or kidney failure, yeah, do alkaline water. But otherwise, it's actually addictive and people have to wean off of it. It causes bone and joint pain, and it takes away your body's ability to regulate its own pH. You don't want to do that. Just a good, healthy filter on your water. Stop with the altered waters with all the added stuff. Just let your body do its job. Those are my tips on that.
Well, two things. I'm boggled by what you just said about alkaline water.
I know.
Yeah, I'm boggled by that only because we live in Carlsbad. We have a house in Carlsbad, California, and Carlsbad's very well known for its well. and
Yeah.
it's alkaline water wells.
Yeah.
So tell
I
me more
used to
about why
live
alkaline
near
water
there.
is not great.
Well, that's the main reason is the pH. So that's, when you're forcing the body into a high pH, but parts of your body want to be acidic, it does cause symptoms over time. It impacts digestion, it impacts your ability to detox, but it does contribute to bone and joint pain because the way you absorb minerals gets affected. There's certain types of minerals in normal water that you need as well. Yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. I lived in Carmel Valley, which is not that far from Carlsbad, for 2 years.
Okay.
In between when I was in Los Angeles, I took like 2 years out and went to San Diego. I needed a break, but but getting back to the alkaline water, even in our training when we studied, we got the NRT certification. They had a whole section about alkaline water and how to get people off of it. Because if people quit cold turkey, it can actually impact them and they can have withdrawal symptoms, which is crazy. That's like a drug. And so anything that bypasses the nervous system or forces the body into a state, sometimes you have to wean off. You can't even do it cold turkey. And so it just impacts anything that's going to throw off something that your body normally regulates and impact its ability to self-regulate is going to then create a domino effect. So think about the inside of your body like a giant game of dominoes. And when something gets thrown off, it slowly starts to impact all the other dominoes. And that's why it's important to just remove what's causing the interference, nutrition, toxicity, and then give time for the body to kick in and start doing. It's always wanting to do its job right. It's always wanting to heal. So it's like, it's not just laying there going, screw it, I give up. It literally wants to heal. So doing these actions and getting what's in the way out of the way, it's constantly trying to work with you. So it's like a team effort.
Sure. So where can we source free range beef and free range animal proteins?
So I do have some places on my recommendations page, which is free and open to public, which is monicahershaft.com/recommendations. Butcher Box is good. There's some other companies as well that I can't think of off the top of my head right this second, but I have seen them even at, obviously farmers markets are great, but I have seen them also at regular mainstream grocery stores. You just have to look on the packaging. Sprouts is a great place, Whole Foods, depending on where you live, Natural Grocers or Air One if you're in the Los Angeles area, Jimbo's in the San Diego area. So, health food stores, obviously you have more variety, and farmers markets also, but they do have them in regular mainstream grocery stores. So they're totally accessible. I think the problem is people just don't know to look for them and they don't understand the importance. Same with the eggs, by the way.
Will a grocery store market that sells free range beef also have beef that's not free range?
Oh yeah. 100%. That's why you
And
got
do
to
they
read the
clearly
label.
mark that? Because the idea this is free range beef and this is not free range beef at one market has never occurred to me. My thought was either the whole market is all free range or it's not. So tell me about
Most
that.
places have both. I haven't seen a place that doesn't have both. Even Air One. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You just gotta, the key to everything, and part of what I teach inside the membership is you have to know how to read labels. That's a skill. That's like learning a language. Knowing how to read the labels is the key to being in control of your body. It's part of driving the car of your body. And if you don't know how to read labels and what to look for, then you're never going to know what you're taking in that's going to potentially cause problems for you. Another thing I'd like to bring up, since you mentioned it, just going back to what we were talking about before with the alkaline water and the probiotics, is that stop taking vitamins and supplements because you think you're supposed to, because you read an article about it. Because first of all, most vitamins and supplements are synthetic. I also have information on that as well. But synthetic vitamins and supplements don't get broken down properly by the body because there's a lot of other ingredients in them. And so they actually cause deficiencies over time. Also, if you're blocked or switched, they're going to cause an adverse reaction. You might be having symptoms from vitamins or supplements you're taking and not even know it. So I would recommend, if you're having weird symptoms and you're taking a bunch of vitamins or supplements, stop taking them for a week and just see what happens as an experiment. But not just a day, do it for a week, because that's how long it takes for the body to kind of kick back in and dump everything. But a lot of people will say, oh, I'm supposed to take melatonin for sleep. Well, unless you're an older man, don't take melatonin for sleep because you probably don't need melatonin. And so that's going to start causing symptoms. Just automatically assuming you need vitamin D doesn't mean that you taking vitamin D is going to be the right thing for you. So it's really important to not just take things blindly because you think, well, they sell it over the counter, so it must be okay. That is not the case. And just because the FDA says it's okay or they sell it at a grocery store doesn't mean you should buy it.
Understood. What's the weirdest thing you eat?
The weirdest thing I eat?
Yes.
I'm boring. I still mentally don't like to cook anything that looks like it was an animal just because of my background and my experience. And, my dad got into it because he was a Holocaust survivor. So there's a whole other story around that. So he was assigned to assess conditions at a factory farm slaughterhouse as a scientist when he was in his late 30s. And it just was a whole thing with him with what he went through in the Holocaust and the things he saw. So that's how he got into the whole movement and started what he did. And so I grew up with that information. So I don't really eat anything weird. I honestly am pretty boring. I do I do red meat every day, but it's boring. It's beef. I'm not getting in all the fancy. I have some of my people I've worked with in the past that are eating elk, and I'll do bison at a restaurant if it's there, but I just don't do a lot of fun, funky stuff. I don't even really do lamb. Unless there's a certain situation where it's there and it's ready. So I'm pretty much like beef, chicken, fish, eggs. That's it. I'm not really that
Okay,
weird.
give me a typical day's meals for you. For breakfast, you have.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do sweet potatoes, avocado, and eggs. I eat probably 3 eggs in the morning. And I do a bone broth protein shake with organic frozen berries and coconut milk. I also am very careful about avoiding gums. A lot of these, you can get organic coconut milk, but then they add guar gum. So I get the gum free because guar gum, carrageenan gum, all the gums are bad for your digestion and your gut. And so I'll do a shake like that, especially if I'm hurried and I need to go to the gym before I go to the office, then I just bring the shake with me. And then at dinner, I usually do some kind of a red meat. I make I'll make a sauce, and then do it over quinoa, things like that. Pretty basic.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds yummy. Hey, before we wrap up today, thank you so much for being with me today. Any last insights or anything you want to share with the audience and all the people that'll watch us after we're not live?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So obviously my tagline is treat the source, not the symptom. If you are banging your head against a wall and you are trying to get well and what you're doing isn't working, don't give up. Don't go off any of your medications cold turkey because that's not safe for you either. But if you've been told it's in your head or it's depression or it's anxiety or it's stress and that doesn't feel right to you, don't give up. Listen to your gut, no pun intended. And I want you to know that every body can heal. You can heal. Do not give up. It's not hopeless. I was told it was hopeless for 10 years. You cannot give up because anything your body got into, it can get out of. You can heal.
Awesome. Well, you are amazing. You're the firecracker that Monty said you were. I look forward to connecting in person, and
Yeah,
I
I would
very
love
much
that.
appreciate you. I very much appreciate you being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
You are loved, and take care, and I'll chat with you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Life is good. I'm so excited about life in general. And we were talking a moment ago about, health and eating better and so much more. And I believe how you start your day is how your day is likely to go. And so I have this little ritual that I do every single day where I turn my feet to the side of the bed. I don't use an alarm. I put my feet on the floor. I clap my hands together and I say, what a glorious day filled with love, health, opportunity, and potential. And when I do that, what happens is it starts the day off with a proper mindset. Next thing I do is I make sure that I get anything that I need to get done that I'm going to put off immediately. Worst things first, because when you do worst things first, you get the things that need to get done. And then finally, I also make sure if I'm going to do anything for my body, working out, any kind of spa or cold plunge or infrared, so any of that, I plan it first thing in the day. The reason I plan the things that impact my health that way first thing in the day is I don't know about anybody else. I know for a fact that if I don't do the things that I need to do first thing in the day, they're not going to get done. If I don't work out first thing in the day, I'm probably not going to work out. If I don't go do my infrared sauna and my cold plunge in the morning, probably the day's going to take over and I'm not going to get it done. So I want that to be your mantra of the day today. I want you to ponder the concept of worst things first. And whatever it is you're working on, whether it's your physical health, whether it is your business, whether it's your relationship, maybe it's a conversation you've been putting off having that you know you need to have with somebody, maybe it's an uncomfortable one. I want you to just start understanding if you'll get those things out of the way right away, the rest of your day will be better. Talked about the cold plunge this morning. I was in it for 9 minutes and some change this morning. And I timed it this morning just to see where I was because I hadn't been doing the cold plunge. I had a very deep chest cold for a while, and I didn't want to get into the cold water because I didn't want to exasperate it. And so I hadn't been in. And the last few days I've been getting back in the cold plunge. It's cold. And again, it's unique to me in that cold plunging, and I don't want to, go through all the benefits because the benefits are massive. And anybody that poo-poos cold plunging has never done cold plunging. Even if there were zero benefits to cold plunging, I would want to do it anyway because I feel so remarkably good when I get out. And by the way, if you're cold plunging, like I said, there's a little ego involved. Let's get it down as cold as we can. Let's do 33 degrees right before freezing. I don't think there's any benefit. I definitely think there's a benefit to keeping yourself cold longer. My research has shown that mid 50s is about the sweet spot on the temperature, as long as you can tolerate that. Most people do about 3 minutes, more than enough for your body to shift. And then the last part of it all, though, is that when you get out of the cold plunge, make sure you keep yourself cold as long as possible because that's when your body starts releasing all the antitoxins and starts healing the joints. I know from my joints, infinitely better after a cold plunge. Not to mention the fact that it kicks out chemicals from your liver that heal your liver and also burn fat. All sorts of benefits. My thing about the cold plunge, though, is as much as I love it, I do love it. And as much as I know it's good for me, I've never had something that I loved so much and that I knew was so good for me. You'd think that would be natural and easy. I've never had anything be so challenging to do. I literally, in my brain, have to hypnotize myself to go get the soak done. We have an industrial strength plunge, cold plunge at the Palace in Las Vegas, where my guy Luke is hanging out right now, taking care of business. And that cold plunge actually seats two people. My beautiful bride has not yet done a dual cold plunge with me, although she loves the cold plunge as well on the singular level. At any rate, we're coming to the top of the show. And the top of the show means I'm going to start taking your calls at studiomoney.info/live guests. And you could win 10 ounces of pure silver, 10 ounces of Marshall silver. Looks just like that. We've given away at this point, if we were on show 14, we had one show prior that I gave away 10 ounces of silver. So we are on 150. This will be 160 ounces as of today. Love to give it to you. Plus, not to mention the fact that this prize is growing. $11,000 today, $11,000. I just realized something. This is kind of funny. Take a look at that. You can see through the $11,000, and I didn't realize that you could. I noticed it a little bit yesterday, but the reason's real simple. It's written in green on the envelope. And so because it's written in green, you can see right through it. That's magic. At any rate, I want to give away $11,000 today, and I'd like it to be you. Get in the queue early. Every single day, we run out of time. We do not have time for all the calls that are trying to get in. Get in the queue now. Go to studiomoney.info/live guests to get in the queue. We will interview you to make sure that your equipment's working properly. And I'm not talking about your equipment. I'm talking about your mic and your camera. And then also we'll want to make sure that you're interesting. My team knows I do not like boring people. So find a way to make it interesting. Somebody emailed us again yesterday, and this is going to happen a lot, I'm sure. I want you to understand my whole intention of this show is to make your life better. We're losing money when we start, giving away the big cash prize. Is going to lose a lot of money. I don't mind. I don't care, actually. I'm happy to do this. Somebody contacted me yesterday with a big question, and it's about their marriage, and they were a little bit embarrassed because of the stuff that's going on inside of their marriage. And they said, Marshall, I don't want to go on the air. If my husband happens to be watching this, I don't want to, I love him. I just want to work this out. And I'm afraid I would be disclosing confidential information if I go on your show. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. It's okay with me if you wear a mask. In fact, amuse me. Wear a mask that's amusing to me. Wear a mask. If you have a question and you don't want to put it on the air, maybe you got a question about life. And maybe you just don't want to get on the air with me, but you want to ask the question, you want somebody to answer it. I want that too. Long term, we are going to have an entire team of coaches standing by for the people that cannot get on the air so that they can get some immediate coaching. And even today, we've got coaches standing by. So if you don't want to talk live on the air, you want to get some answers to life's tough questions, then yes, you can talk to my guy, Luke, or Anthony, and either one of them will be happy to get you some answers. Or at the very least, maybe just post the question to me so that I can answer the question during the show. If you have not yet gone to IamTheNextMultimillionaire.com, go there now. There is an audio program that's totally free to help reprogram your brain with the thoughts of a multimillionaire. Go there, download the audio. And very soon, we are going to announce the re-release of the Next Multimillionaire program. What is that? I'm going to take 12 listeners, 12 of you, and at no cost to you. This isn't a paid program. Certainly, we sell programs. This program is not for sale. I'm going to take 12 people that we have vetted and selected, and I'm going to mentor them over 120 days, with the promise being one of them, if not all of them, or at least some of them, will become millionaires in 120 days through my mentoring. And if I'm not able to make one of them a millionaire in 120 days, then I will give $2 million to charity. And I will also, if somebody does make $1 million, the person that makes the most money over $1 million during those 120 days is also going to receive a $1 million additional prize, effectively making them a multi-millionaire. So I think that's sexy. I think that's fun. On today's show, we're going to give everybody who contacts us a pair of tickets to Turning Point worth $3,000 a piece. And maybe, just maybe, I might even give away a $6,000 ticket to First Million if I find somebody fascinating enough. To give you an idea of what the programs are, we're going to show you a couple quick videos. Plus, I'm going to jump into the vault. The vault is, going forward, a place that I will go to so that I don't get banned from social media platforms. Having been banned from what used to be Twitter when I had 155,000 followers, simply because I loved a certain president named Trump. I loved a certain president named Trump. They banned me from Twitter, erased my entire account. Now that Elon is back, I probably could get back on, just don't want to, don't really care. But I do care about you. And so the vault's going to be a place where we can chat together and get down to the nitty gritty. If you haven't joined and gotten a free membership to this broadcast, go to studiomoney.info/the vault. And when you do that, you'll get a free membership, no cost whatsoever. You'll have access to watch me in the vault where we're about to go to, and you'll also get access to all sorts of other free stuff. So if you want to be even considered for one of the 12 in the I Am the Next Multimillionaire program, then go to IamTheNextMillionaire.com, download the free audio right now, because that is where we will be pulling our candidates. It's past the hour. We're going into hour 2, which means I'm going to start taking your calls right now. Get in the loop. Get in the studio as quick as you can, because it's going to fill up as it does every single day. In the meantime, we're going into the vault. Take a look at these 2 quick videos about Turning Point and First Million, and I'll see you on the other side.
Turning Point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a turning point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions. How to use PND, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
You will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
Isn't it time for your first million? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to do what you love and learn how to monetize that on a 7-figure level? Do you want to know exactly what you need to do and what not to do to have your biggest year ever? If not now, when? First Million. A 2-day subconscious learning experience that both teaches and programs you with the personality traits and habits of multimillionaires. At First Million, you'll learn how to take almost any wealth vehicle to a 7-figure level or better. You'll learn how to stop using vehicles that don't work, are too difficult, or simply unsuited for you. Making money is supposed to be fun. Stop living your life, getting ready to live your life, and start living a life of adventure. First Million was crafted to not just change what you do, it's also going to change who you are. Instead of trying to become a millionaire, you'll learn that you're already a millionaire, even if the money has not yet been deposited in your bank account. Beyond mindsets, you'll learn the actual personality traits of multimillionaires, so you'll naturally do what millionaires do to produce a similar result. One of the key personality traits of a millionaire is charisma. Imagine being able to walk into a room and without speaking a word, have the entire room drawn to you. Imagine others hanging on your every word, wanting to be near you, to be in business with you, and hungry to buy whatever you're selling. First Million will teach you how to use the charisma that politicians, entertainers, CEOs, and celebrities use to move nations and make millions. You'll also learn how to get more done in less time. You'll learn priority management and what the highest and best use of your time is. You'll learn laser-like focus upon IGAs, or income-generating activities, and you'll learn to let go of anything below your pay grade. What if you had more customers than you ever imagined? What if they came right to you and fought to buy from you? At First Million, you'll learn attraction marketing and strategies to get others to pay you for your marketing and advertising before they even purchase your offer. When you attend your First Million, you'll begin to see an overwhelming amount of amazing opportunities all around you. You'll look through the matrix and easily identify target-rich environments. You'll learn dovetailing and stacking strategies to acquire more customers and do more business with the customers you already have. Unless something is sold, no money is made. Whether you're a sales pro, a novice, or even scared to death of selling something, your First Million is going to have you fall in love with influence and enjoy it as the game that it is. When you believe in what you're selling, you're obligated to sell it.
You'll learn exact language patterns of influence and persuasion. You'll learn how to get others to ask you for what you're selling and have them believe it was their idea. You'll become dynamically able to use arcing statements, direct links, embedded commands, and so much more. An entire tool belt of selling gambits will be yours after you get to your first million. As a First Million alumni, you will be clear on what you need to do to GTFM or get the freaking money. You deserve great wealth, and your first million will help to raise your self-esteem around the topic of money. The amount of money you make will always be determined by your own self-image. You'll learn what billion-dollar corporations already know about outsourcing, how to get anything below your pay grade done for pennies on the dollar. Your first million will give you the groundwork to understand presentation skills and the highest paid profession on the planet, public speaking. When you graduate from your first million, you'll be able to create presentations that inspire with confidence and power. If all that weren't enough, there's so much more. Making your first million is almost certainly going to require that you manage at least a small team. You'll walk out of the course with the knowledge of how to lead teams and synergistically get more done in less time. Technology has made our lives so much easier as we've learned how to harness it. The First Million course will teach you what is up to date and available in technology so that you can use that cutting-edge technology to get more done and have more fun. You'll also learn how to harness the power of the internet for massive passive profits. Every time you attend your first million, you'll learn new technology and internet marketing strategies as these two portions of the class change every time you attend. It's like getting a brand new seminar each time you come. If you're a representative, you may attend your first million as often as you like, totally free, with your enrollment in the First Million course. If you're not yet a rep, or if you have not yet invested in your first million, enroll now. Everything begins in thought, and you know what you want to say. Go ahead, say it now. Say it out loud. I'm ready for my first million.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Let me change rooms very quickly. And see you in the vault. 1 second. We've been having a phenomenal show, and I'm really excited about today's show. I'm excited because we're at $11,000 on the giveaway, and we are at a peak where we're almost at 3 weeks live into the show, and I'm excited about that. The show's been going really well. Now is your chance to take $11,000 cash and have some fun with it. StudioMoney.info/live guest is all you got to do. And always good. You know, we've had such great guests, great callers in on the show that we usually only get to between 2 and 4 callers. Yeah, I see. I'd like to get back on the live stream on Facebook. It might have been something I said that they booted us, but let's go ahead and see if we can get back on Facebook as well while the stream is going live. In the meantime, I'm going to start taking your calls. And Dominic, Cowie, you are my first guest of the day. Welcome home.
Hi, how you doing? You okay? How are you?
I am always awesome.
I'm awesome too.
What is your question today?
My question was really, obviously you're talking about with the fitness goals and everything, and obviously the great guest we just had talking about the nutrition, and it's something we spoke about before with the nutrition. But obviously once you start to diet and really focus on food, we all find those foods that we really love that are healthy for us. So I was interested to know, what are your favorite, health foods that you enjoy eating, but it's really healthy, it's you love it. It feels like junk food, but it's not.
I love my vegetables. I really love my vegetables. There are times when greens, and I know you know this, greens are orgasmic. There are times when I can, start eating a salad and it just is so amazing. It's hard to believe. So again, I think the bigger question is not what foods are great. The bigger question is, how can I get myself to like living the life that I want to live?
Yeah.
Again, I can use alcohol as a phenomenal example of that. I loved alcohol, and I
Yeah.
had a really strong work ethic. I would never drink alcohol if I had to get on stage the next day. I would never drink to the point where I knew I would have a hangover. I would never drink alcohol if I had anything important to do. I was very disciplined about when I drank, but when I drank and when I gave myself permission to drink, I drank a lot. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that people don't know what they don't know. I had no idea I was going to feel this good. My son yesterday, I was talking about the fact that I quit drinking July 12th, and he said, "Oh my God, Dad, that's like over 200 days." I said, "It is. It's coming up on 230 days right about
It's
now." And
amazing.
he said, "Congratulations." So, for me, it's not so much that I even like junk food. It's a matter of understanding that our body changes over time and it changes how it processes stuff over time. And a lot of people don't know the stuff that we could eat fearlessly in our 20s and 30s, come 40s, 50s, and 60s, just not so much. So,
No.
ask me what are my favorite healthy foods to eat?
Yeah.
Yes, like a good healthy steak. Yes, I love salads. I can make an entire meal out of a salad. I prefer some kind of a protein in it. So I
Yeah.
really like crab salad. I really like chicken salad inside of my lettuce salad. But that's the bottom line for me. But I think that again, the bigger question is not what should I eat? Who do I need to become? And who I need to become will determine what I eat every single time.
Well, like you were just saying about the cold water, that's something I've been doing for a few years, and it's everything you're saying. I can totally relate to it. It's insane how if you do that first thing in the morning, everything's so easy. It's like no matter what's in front of you, it's easy. You've done the hard bit. Nothing can scare you. It's amazing.
No, it is amazing. I get out of the cold plunge and my skin is like beet red. It's so
Yeah,
cold. And I get out and there's been times when I've been in the cold plunge long enough that when I get out, my whole body starts to shake because I'm kind of in a
yeah,
cold shock.
yeah.
And again, there's just no better feeling than that. So I'm gonna turn this around on you. You called in. What's your favorite healthy food?
It's a good one. I mean, I'm trying to think because I've not been eating super healthy recently, so I'm trying to remember what I have been eating. You know what I really like? Quinoa. I love quinoa when you get a salad with quinoa in it because you don't really need. Sometimes I can have that without meat a lot of time. If I just buy something quickly, like a quick ready-made salad, even as long as if it's got quinoa in it, it's filling enough. You know what I mean? It tastes good. Um, but yeah, I think salad you can't go wrong. There's just the options are unlimited. Like you say, you can have a chicken salad, crab salad. The
Whatever you
options
want.
are, and you can get full up on it. It's not like you're sitting there still hungry after it. If you get everything you need, if you have enough, you get some protein in it, you're good to go.
You're over in Scotland, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Tell me, what are the 3 reasons you watch this show?
Number one, you've changed my life. uh, the last few weeks since you started making this show, I've been moving non-stop. I've been achieving things. Today I had some things I needed to do that were a bit stressful, like some phone calls I had to make and stuff. And it was just like, what do I need to do? And I did it because it was, what would a millionaire do? He told me that. And it makes it easy when you just, will do it then. Number two, I mean, my number one's big, I can't think of you've changed my life, yeah, I can't really think of
Good,
it.
good.
My
Well,
number
that's
one's
awesome,
big,
man. Well, I appreciate you being a fan of the show. Always great to hear from you, and
I'm a
man,
huge
keep
fan.
coming.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you for everything you're doing and keep it up.
You are very welcome, my brother.
Thank you. You're loved.
You get on the show by going to studiomoney.info/live guests. That's how you get on the show. Love to have you get on the show. We have an event that we do once a year, and it's called Next Level. And I'm going to show you a video of what Next Level is. Before I show you the video, though, I want to explain to you the reason I created the Next Level program. I believe you have 4 areas of focus in your life, 4 areas of personal development that you must take charge of. And the first area of your personal development is your mind. If your mind's not straight, nothing matters. If your mind is not operating healthfully, you won't care about anything else. If your mind's not operating well and your body's not healthy, you won't even notice. You won't care. So first thing you got to do, you got to feed your mind properly. You've got to get to a place where you are taking care of this thing in your head, this muscle, and giving it good nutrition, giving it good programming, giving it good direction, telling that muscle how you want it to respond. Most people think that what goes on in their head is random and that they have no control of whatever random thought they're thinking. And that's just not true. It's just false. Every thought you think was chosen by you. Every experience you have was chosen by you. Every emotion you experience is chosen by you. No one can make you happy. No one can make you sad. No one can frighten you. No one can make you anxious or depressed. You choose it. Now, that said, easier said than done. I agree. Because part of the challenge is something I just mentioned. Your mind, your brain is an organic substance. It's organic. And because it's organic, it follows the path of least resistance. That's the reason you have people that have the craziest thoughts in their head and then operate on them as if they're real. And you look at them and you say, how could you believe this? How could you think this? We're in the vault. So without getting into all the details, a lot of things happened during the lockdowns that people had to look at and say, this doesn't make any sense. You walk into a restaurant, they tell you you have to put a mask on when you get into the restaurant, but when you sit down, you can take it off. The waiter comes by, they're wearing a mask, but you're not. You eat your food, you interact with your guests. None of your guests are wearing masks while you're sitting there. So everybody at that table is all exposed to each other. But then if you have to use the bathroom, you had to get up, put your mask on, go to the bathroom, use your mask in the bathroom, come on back, take it off when you sit down. Insane, stupid, flat out stupid. Even the manufacturers of the masks said they didn't work. Stupid. So the second area, though, once you've got your mind locked down, second area, you've got to take charge of your physical health. You can have all the money in the world. You could be the richest person on the planet. And I guarantee you would trade all those riches for health any day if you did not have good health. So the second thing is once you've taken charge of your mind, you got to take charge of your physical health. You got to eat better. You got to exercise better. You got to move more. You got to get rid of all the distress in your life, replace it with eustress. Third area of your life is your relationships. The majority of what you want in your life that you don't have, you're going to get from other people. So while you don't have to like other people, I highly recommend you love other people. I recommend you understand that we are in this thing together. And because we're in this thing together, we've got to consider our impact. We've got to have sensory acuity on what's going on with other people when they're in our realm. So number one, got to take charge of your mind. Number two, got to take charge of your body. Number three, got to focus on healthy relationships, got to release toxic relationships, got to become a person that is a people and a money magnet. And then the fourth area of your life is your finance. Yes, money cures most things. So many times people are on the treadmill, they're on the hamster wheel, and they're attempting to make money at the cost of their marriage, at the cost of their health, at the cost of their sanity. And while money does give you more options for relationship, while money does give you certainly access to things that would be better for both your physical and your mental health, the challenge is making money at the cost of the other areas of balance in your life is just pointless. There's no point. You won't be rich if you're unhealthy. You won't be rich if you're lonely. You won't be rich if you're depressed. You'll simply have money. So when you come to next level, and next level was a course that I designed because I wanted people to start viewing their life as a seminar. You go to a seminar and you don't mind if you're challenged. At Turning Point, we have people do metaphors. One is they eat fire. And, before people eat fire, there's no real benefit. Nobody can say, oh, my life will be better because I ate fire. The metaphor of facing a fear, following through, figuring out a strategy to successfully accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish is the point of the fire eating. So, when people come to the event and we give them metaphors, they don't argue. They don't get mad at me, go, oh, you're going to make us eat fire because we don't make anybody. We say, no, it's an option. You do what you want to do. So many people get mad at their lives. They get mad at the circumstances of their life. And I tell them, you don't have to participate. A whole lot of people aren't participating in our government right now. We're just saying, no, I'm not participating. Some people decide they don't want to participate in relationships because they're just too much hassle. I get it. And if you're asking the wrong questions, yes, relationships can be a hassle. But when you get to next level, unlike Turning Point, when you get to next level, the first element of the next level program that we teach every November and have been teaching for almost 40 years is I want you to accept right now that you are a genius. Doesn't matter what somebody else's test shows, because intelligence tests are to determine a certain kind of intelligence, not even intelligence that would be useful for you. It's scholastic intelligence. It was created by scholars, and therefore that's what it measures. I've seen people that on an intelligence testing level would have been thought of as stupid, that are not stupid on any level. They're absolute geniuses. It's just that their brain functions differently. My mind functions very differently than most of the minds around me, in that I have a very easy way to see logic. My brain follows logic very quickly and is not easily torn. And so when things don't make logical sense, they don't make sense. So the first thing first thing next level is going to do is going to make you think like a genius. It's going to make you think like a genius. Once you realize that every game is winnable and you're thinking like a genius, the next thing the next level does is it helps you release any kind of physical challenges, any kind of physical restrictions that you've imposed upon yourself. And physical restrictions are almost always self-imposed. What do I mean by that? Some people don't do what they need to do because they don't like the shape of their body. They're too fat, they're too skinny, too short, too tall, too white, doesn't matter. Let it go. When you let go of physical restrictions and you simply say, okay, this person in this shape and this state has to accomplish that task, then you stop saying I'm too fat. And if you keep saying I'm too fat, then your brain says, okay, if I'm too fat to do the things that I want, I need to take some fat off. I'm too short. Okay, too short for what? Well, girls like tall guys. I have a friend of mine, his name's Ryan, and I don't know how tall he is. My guess, probably somewhere around 5'8", 5'7", 5'9", somewhere in there. And that's not short by any means. That's just shorter than the average male in America. It's not short. He likes women that are 6 foot plus. In fact, I think his wife is like 6'2". Why? When I asked him this, he laughed. He said, I just like climbing mountains. And when I asked the wife about it, she said, I just like cute. I just like cute. It works. So there's somebody for everybody. So the second thing you got to do is let go of any physical limitations. At next level, we show you how to get rid of them all. So you don't look at anything and say, oh, my body won't allow me. You say no. How do we do that? Well, we might have you climbing 40-foot poles and taking a leap of faith off the top of the pole. We might have you doing 1,000-yard zip lines through the canyons in Las Vegas. Any number of things to help you start putting fear in its place. The next step of next level is helping you understand this absolute truth. The greatest things you will ever accomplish, including this broadcast, the greatest things you will ever accomplish in your life, you cannot do on your own. You're going to need other people. So you've got to figure out a way to cooperate with, lead, and or follow other people. Bottom line, you got to like people, you got to lead people. And then finally, here's the final lesson of next level. The final lesson of next level is I peel back the walls on the seminar room and I turn your life into a seminar. I send you out into the real world with the skills you've already learned to accomplish absolutely impossible things in an impossibly short amount of time. Every single time we do next level, the testimonials are always the same. Oh my God, I just did next level. I can do anything now. And so we just stopped taking testimonials. At any rate, to give you an idea of the kind of things we teach at Certainty International, before we come back to your calls at studiomoney.info/live guest. Before we go back to taking your calls, take a look. This is Next Level.
here at the Next Level event in Las Vegas, and this has been the most transformational week of my life. I got to a point where before this event, I had nothing less to hold on to. I lost my apartment, the love of my life, went through the worst heartbreak I've ever experienced. I now feel stronger than I ever have. I have more confidence in my future than I could have imagined. So I gotta say, Marshall, thank you. Thank you for putting everything together. Thank you for believing in us, for pouring everything you have into your students. As a result of that, you've saved my life. For anyone who's out there that's going through something, whether it's emotional, whether it's a business challenge, if there's something in your life that you're looking to change, I guarantee you, come to one of these events, Turning Point, the Next Level, and you will find the solutions, and you'll be strong, and you'll be ready to take on whatever direction it is you're wanting to go.
Just participating in the Marshall Civil Next Level. It's phenomenal. It's great. It really pushes yourself. I mean, when you come here, you're really pushing yourself, like, as it is to the next level. Kind of cocky when I'm like, oh yeah, big tough guy, gonna be destroying this course. But especially when you're up on the high things, you really feel the nerves, and you're like, oh god. But you know, you really just gotta trust yourself, because that's what it's all about. You're just trusting yourself. Thanks again, Marshall Silver, for the Next Level. See you soon.
I'm here at the Next Level event by Marshall Silver. It is just amazing. Between the physical challenges, the team challenges, I really felt like I took my life and my business to the next level. Thanks, Marshall and AJ. It's amazing.
What can I say? Next Level is always amazing. As you saw in that short clip, the breakthroughs and the advancements and the understandings that people come to are not available anywhere else. You can only get them here at the Next Level. To all the people that have come through the Next Level, I am so glad to have been able to be a part of this part of your life. I trust that the advancements and the understandings will continue to bless you for a lifetime. And to the folks that are considering Next Level, I just want you to know that in your life there are so many times when you wanted to do something and it felt right for you to do it, and you hesitated, you didn't follow through, you didn't go to the next level. I want you to consider those moments and all those regrets you might have had, and don't do it again. Don't do it anymore at all. Come with us. Let us take your life to the next level. I'll see you there.
StudioMoney.info. Am I back? Boy, they do not want me talking about vaccines or lockdowns, do they? Yeah, we're having some challenges today. We're having some technical challenges. So I'm going to actually wrap up the show a little bit early today while we figure out what's going on technically. Uh, we only had one caller so far. So Dominic, congratulations. You won 10 ounces of pure silver, all because of glitches inside of our system. We'll take care of the glitches. We'll be back tomorrow. Nobody won the cash today. I definitely tried to give it away today. I definitely wanted to. I talked extensively when Monica was on the air about my beautiful bride, Erica, grabbing weeds from the backyard and making me tea. And the weed that is most often made into tea from the backyard is the word of the day,